Hey squad, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to talk about something that I recently asked about on Instagram, and it spurred the idea for an entire video. But before I jump into that, if you are new here, thanks for stopping by. If you are coming back, thanks for stopping back by again. My name is Kelly, and I like to share about secondhand shopping and our life as a family. That life as a family part encompasses a lot of different things, and I like to share about ways that we live simply, that we live frugally, ways we save money, ways that we use things in our home, ways that we cycle out things in our home, and that brings me to today's topic. So I've mentioned before, I like to keep things in our home that we use, that we love. I wouldn't call myself a true minimalist, but I also am somebody who doesn't like to keep excess of things around. I like to keep our home modalist. Is that a word? Anyway, you get the point. I'm not a super minimalist, but I also don't like to have a lot of clutter. So whenever I was going through cabinets last week, I wasn't doing a true decluttering, but I was just sort of looking through, just as I was doing other things in the kitchen, and was thinking, is there anything in here that I don't really use? And I came across this. So if you are unfamiliar, this is a Pampered Chef food chopper. So actually, whenever we first got married, I was a Pampered Chef consultant purely so that I could get the deal of getting the starter kit for a bargain. I think I hosted one party, maybe two, and that was pretty much all I was interested in. I knew that that was not the route I wanted to go. But in my process of getting starter kit, getting perks, all of that, this was one of the things that I chose. And I have sort of given it a place in my kitchen ever since then. But I realized as I came across it in my kitchen this week, I haven't used it at least for the past 3 years, I know. So it really spurred the question in me, do I need to give this a place in my kitchen? Is it something useful? So I took to Instagram and I put up a poll. And you guys, I was so blown away at how neck and neck it was. So in my poll, I just said, if you have this gadget at home, is this something that you actually use? It was so close. I had 109 people in total vote. 52 people said yes, they use it, and 57 people said no, they do not use it. So that ended up being 48% for yes and 52% for no. Beyond the actual poll, I also had a lot of people message me, and I'm just going to insert some of those messages here, but they were so across the board. I had some people say, yes, I use it all the time. This is, an important part of my kitchen. I had some people say I use it, on occasion, maybe a few times a month, maybe a few times a year. I had some people say I never use mine. I had some people say I donated it, and I'm so glad I did. While I had a few others say I donated it and I wish that I had it back, and now it is on my thrift list again. I even had one person say I never use mine, it's so hard to clean, and within the same day I had another person say I use mine all the time, it's so easy to clean. So I thought, there's some stuff worth diving into here. I want to really examine this. I want to research this and figure out, does it have a place in my kitchen? So the first thing I wanted to do is look at the value of this product. When you are decluttering, when you are shopping secondhand, noting that something is a valuable product, as in it costs a certain amount of money, is not a reason to keep it. But it is important to know. I got mine because, like I said, I was a Pampered Chef consultant. I see these a lot of times at yard sales. I see them thrifting, and that's because it's sort of what you would call a unitasker. I think Alton Brown from Food Network talked about these one time, and basically it's just, this is a special gadget that is tailored for the task that you could accomplish with a knife. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's first just look at this a little bit. So I went on the Pampered Chef website, and this gadget actually retails currently for $43. So pretty pricey for a gadget that just appears to chop things. The next thing I did was I took to YouTube and I started looking at product reviews. I wanted to find out, if I am going to keep this, what can I actually do with it? So I saw people chopping different types of vegetables. I heard them talk about the way to chop it. They also talked about how to disassemble it so that you can wash it in your dishwasher. So when you look at the chopper, it has this little lid here that you can like chop in, but you can also just take it off and chop on a cutting board. That's what I chose to do in my little trials. As far as washing it, you can take this plastic dome off. It twists off like that. And then you have the part here that when you push this plunger, the blade actually comes out. This cover actually comes off so that if you have any little pieces of vegetables in here, you can just spread this apart like this, and then all of these pieces can go in the dishwasher. So in that regard, in my opinion, I think that it is fairly easy to clean because you can put all these pieces in the dishwasher. I did have somebody say that if you wait a while, if this sits in the sink a while and the pieces dry on here, then they do get stuck inside this part, and that's when it becomes hard to clean. So good to know. So my first thought was, do I need this beyond using a knife? So the important thing to note whenever you're using this gadget is that all of your pieces have to be small enough to fit in this dome, which means you're already getting out your knife. So my thought process was, if I'm already getting out my cutting board, my knife, maybe my vegetable peeler, then why do I need to get out another gadget? Now, several people responded and said they use this when they cook things in bulk, where they're needing a lot of diced vegetables, particularly small dice. So maybe they're making baked beans, maybe they're making slaw, maybe they're making chicken salad or egg salad, and they want the things to be very small pieces. And they're making a large amount of whatever it was. I heard from one person that said that they used it when they made chicken salad for like 300 people or something. That I can understand. But I also have to think about the fact that I haven't used this in 3 years and I haven't really missed it. So do I need to keep it?
All right, so some of my audio and video did not record like it was supposed to. So I'm just going to voice over here. I put this chopper through a series of tests. The first one featured me making a double recipe of soup, and so I had a lot of vegetables. So this was a good opportunity for me to decide if this made the task any easier or not. My next step was to put it to the test with Abram. So stabilizing is key, and you will see there that his first time chopping, he realized that he needed to keep his hand on it. After that, he did a pretty decent job. The chopper seemed to do a really good job of chopping the celery. You can see here that the chop is pretty even. We did decide to go in next and try the onions. With the onions, we noticed that the chop was pretty even, except for there were some places on the ends, and you'll see these larger pieces here that I am picking up. It didn't quite get those all the same. I did notice that if you keep going, it's more of an even size, but then it's also a finer chop, so it depends on the sizing. Now here you'll see the bell pepper we did not have as much success with. It does say to put the skin side up, so we tried it again with the skin side up, and I told him to really make sure that he chopped it with some force, and with this time we had better success.
So based on the fact that Abram is able to use this in a safe way, for the moment, I am deciding to keep the gadget. And that's really the only reason, is so my 4-year-old can help me safely chop things in the kitchen. Here's a couple things to note. If you are using this gadget to chop vegetables, it is significantly louder than a knife. So let's say you are doing meal prep during nap time or early in the morning. This is not the gadget to use. So if you were doing a lot of chopping and you wanted to use this, this would have to be something that you did while your kids were awake and active. This is definitely not a quiet tool, and you do have to whack it quite hard, like I said, in order to get the blade to come down with enough force to be able to chop what you're chopping. Like I said, you already have to get out your knife. With my experience, if you're chopping celery, you have to cut it into 3 or 4 sections already. With the onion, you're going to have to chop it in half or in quarters and peel it. Same with carrots, you're gonna have to cut those in manageable lengths to be able to fit under here. So for my personal experience, it's only usable if you are doing a large amount of chopping or if you have a little one helping you in the kitchen. Now, the bigger picture of all of this, I don't know, it just kind of slapped me in the face this week whenever I saw this, and it was just the picture of the fact that we are all so different and our needs are different, our family's needs are different. We can get so sucked into this internet culture where we see something that someone else has that they find really usable and we just have to have it. So I think it can be a lesson in contentment. I think it can be a lesson in the fact that we are all different and we are all unique. I'm sure if we were to have even a deeper conversation than the things in people's kitchen, if we talked about the things in their homes, the way that they parent, the way that they talk to their kids, the way that they spend quality time, things are gonna look so different. And I think for me, it was a big lesson that in a lot of these little small things, there's not really a right or wrong answer. One thing that I learned early on in being a parent is that you don't ask blanket parenting questions on the internet. And if you do, you have to look at it through this filter of you're going to get answers from all across the board. I very quickly got out of a lot of mom groups that I was in on Facebook because you learn that you're not like-minded with everybody else, and that's okay. And asking blanket advice from people on the internet is going to get you a million different answers from a million different places, from all kinds of backgrounds and belief systems, and it's just not ideal. So I learned really quickly that, you know, I value information from a few people, and that's who I really source those questions from, and that's just as far as parenting. But anyway, I think that this just taught me a lot, and I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you guys. So if you guys are doing some New Year's decluttering, you know, sometimes we can go through with a quick hand and put this in a yes pile, put this in a no pile, but sometimes it really does take a little more thought. And this was something that I really wanted to make sure I didn't just hastily throw in the donation pile. Actually, that day before I got all of the responses, this was in the donation pile. And it wasn't until I really started thinking about it that cooking with my kids came into mind. So for now, I'm glad that I'm hanging on to it. It may at some point make its way out the door into the hands of somebody else who will love it better than we do. But at the moment, it is going to stay. So if you are doing that decluttering, I hope that this helps you. I hope that it helps to inspire you that sometimes it's not just a simple yes or no. Sometimes you do really need to do the research and decide if it has a place in your home or not. All right, you guys, well, I hope that this helps to inspire you. I hope that you found it enjoyable, and I look forward to sharing with you guys more this year. I actually have a video coming next week. It is a collaboration and it is a thrift video. You guys know that I love anything secondhand shopping, so I hope that you will come back for that. All right, you guys, well, I hope that you are having a great January and a great new year, and I will be talking to you soon. My hair's stuck in it.